place to promote the growth of Tigres in English through analysis, discussions, interviews, and more. Welcome to the Lautimes podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Happy New Year. This is the Lautimes podcast, and we are back with our first episode of 2026. Our apologies for the late start on the live stream tonight. I know it is almost 10 o'clock, and we promised 9:30, but here we are. I'm Dennis. I am the host of the show, at least for tonight. I'm usually just the producer. Thank you for joining us. If you are watching us live, it's good to be back. It's 2026, and we have lots of things to talk about with our beloved Tigres. So tonight, it's just a little small crew. Right now, it's just two of us. Maybe we'll get a third, but for the time being, I am happy to be joined by my friend down in the H, but you know him as the pride of Corpus Christi, Mr. AJ Pena himself. How are you, my friend? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm doing good.
Did you have any rosca yesterday, as our background implies?
No, I did not have none yesterday. Kind of disappointed.
Yeah, same, to be honest. We didn't do it. We like low key forgot. Like my mom and I were like about to go to like sleep, and we realized as we were like winding, I was like, oh, this was a thing. We forgot to do it, but yeah, it is what it is. Excuse me, listeners, viewers. My apologies in advance. I have a cough, like just a lot of crap that I've been dealing with over the last few days. So bear with me if my voice sounds kind of froggy or if I start hacking away. I'm also about to switch over to my phone, just a little inside baseball because I'm still at work. This is just how we're doing it tonight. It's a little wheels off. But we're here to talk about lots of things with Tigres tonight. We're here to talk about Femenil and their start to the season. We're going to get into Diana Ordoñez later on and just her wonderful 4-goal performance. But we're going to first start off talking about the men's side ahead of this Sunday, with the first game of the season at San Luis. And we will preview the game in just a little bit, but I think it's appropriate, AJ, that we start by talking about the lack of transfer incomings. There's been a lot of outgoings, but there hasn't been a lot of incomings. So before I ask you the question, though, I forgot to do the housekeeping bit. If you're watching us live right now, please share this with people, retweet, share, do all the things. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. And if you're listening on podcast later, thank you for being here, and subscribe if you haven't already. And join us in the chat. Please don't leave us lonely. There's 7 of y'all watching right now. Let's bump that number up to a lot more than 7. And come hang on the chat. Threeger, where you at? We need you in the chat, my boy. Anyways, AJ, let's start with this. Just I need the audience to hear your frustration that you've been sharing with us in the group thread, like all of us have over the last couple of weeks, about the lack of activity as far as like bringing new guys in and how that affects the team, how that affects, team chemistry. I love the point you made earlier, like today or yesterday, about, you're not going to have rhythm if you're coming in at week 7 as opposed to week 1. Like, just tell me what you think about the situation we're in right now, where we've seen a lot of these guys leave and nobody has come in except for a youth striker that we know nothing about.
Yeah. So I just think our board doesn't have a vision for the team. And that was my biggest worry about making the final or even winning the final, was that the board was going to be like, well, we made it this far with this team. Like, do we really need reinforcements? Like, we almost won the final with what we had. So let's hold off on spending. I mean, we're slowly getting rid of the dead weight Gorlabag, you could say he was dead weight a little bit because he didn't really perform up to his level in the last tournament. But yeah, definitely, I just don't think the board has a vision for the team on what the future is for the team.
Yeah, it's been. Can you hear me? Okay, first of all.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. It's been really frustrating, the lack of desire from the front office. there hasn't even been a ton of like real legitimate rumors on any front. You know, like we've heard like names floated around. We've heard names floated around for like the last year, basically. But nobody has like been like a true like, oh, Tigres are really looking at this person to come in, right? Like we've seen, you know, like the guy from Boca Juniors, the striker, Manentiel. Like that's a guy who kind of was floated around for a second. But is there any like real legs to that rumor? I don't think there is. It's the same with like Icardi, and the Alamoso thing was kind of also that, where there wasn't really any real legs to it.
And
And
Gabigol.
that's what,
Don't forget Gabigol too from Brazil.
yeah, exactly. And now he's like moving to another team in Brazil. That's the thing, man. It's like everybody else in the league has done something.
Yeah.
Except for us and freaking Mazapan, who's not even about to be a team anymore, right? Like something's got to give. And I don't understand the strategy of, oh, let's wait to see how things play out with certain guys, with how the season starts. No, we got to bring people in now. And like a guy who apparently was on the way out, but thankfully he's not on the way out because we don't have a ton of midfield depth, right? Like that's not a guy that you just easily give up to Querétaro for like $1 million or $2. When one, he fills in youth minutes, and two, we don't have a ton of depth behind Brunetta and Goriaran and Romulo. We really don't. So um, that's been really frustrating. And obviously, I hope that we bring in somebody sooner than later. But at this point, with this directiva that we all know that is kind of, you know, they like to sit on their hands way more than they should, especially for a front office, it's really annoying. And yet, the other thing, too, that I want to say is that they haven't actually like got rid of some of the guys that really should have left, right? Like you think about um, Uriel Antuna, right? Or Nico Ibanez, like guys who probably should have left by now. But yet, Fernando Tapia is leaving or has left to join America, which sucks, right? Like he's a good keeper and he has potential. And maybe he was going to be the guy after Nahuel. Who knows? But you didn't even really give him a fair shot. I think there's just a lot of, you know, general bad feelings about the front office right now, and it's completely justified because, like I said, it feels like they're just sitting on their hands and just trying to be reactive instead of proactive. You know what I mean? You're muted, by the way.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know, it's just like you said, just like every club is reinforcing. Like America got a Tapia, right? They have that piece. Um, we really haven't made any like you said, like the rumors that we have heard. We don't even know if there's any truth behind it, or if it's just the local press list trying to make something happen. Trying to get to light the fire with the front office. And I think it was Peter who had made the point about like if we had anyone come into the seventh week or the seventh game, everyone would be out of sync because you're forcing the player to adapt quickly to the league. Um, and it's just like Liga MX it's not an easy league to adapt to.
No,
You
not at
have
all.
like, yeah, you have Yignaku, but Yignax is he's like an outlier, right? Like he's just an outlier. Like look at Anthony Martial at Monterrey, right? He didn't score, and people thought, oh, he's going to come into the league and he's going to take it by fire, but he didn't adapt to the league, and he was like one of those mid table add-ons for them. So it's not an easy league to adapt to. And like I said, just the front office, I just like you said, they're reactive. They're waiting for either a big injury to happen to be like, okay, now we have to get a player, or they're waiting for us to drop some games, drop some points that we shouldn't be dropping, to
Right.
to finally make a decision on who to bring to the team. I still, like you said, like Fernando Pala, like that's someone we should not. We have no midfield depth at all, and you're letting him go to Querétaro. Right. Granted, he didn't go, but still, if that move would have went through, we were already been more depleted in the midfield, right? Like it's just I honestly don't know the vision. Like we don't have someone with the proper vision for the club. Like I just think they're like, okay, well, we can move him, and then we'll figure it out later. Because then we don't then we bring up that U20 player from, I forgot his name. I was reading into it, from Brazil. Like he's training with the first team now.
Oh, Henrique or whatever
Yeah.
his name
Yeah,
is.
so he's a holding midfielder too, but he hasn't played first team football, right? Like he hasn't played with the first team. So that's not like someone that you can just plug in and, oh, he's going to make an immediate impact. Like we don't know. That's a whole lot of unknowns with the club and with the front office. And like I said at the beginning, that was like my biggest concern with making a deep run in the Liga, is because to the front office, it's like, well, we made it this far with these players. Like, what more do we need? We just got unlucky with the penalty shootout. Like, what more do we need? Like, we already made it this far with these players. And I truly believe that that's their mindset in the transfer window.
And also, may I remind you, and may I remind listeners and viewers everywhere, this team is playing in two competitions this semester, right? Like, we have a CONCACAF Champions Cup journey that we're about to start in a month that honestly we should win, right? I say this every year. If you've been listening to CONCACAF Champions League, Champions Cup, whatever the heck you want to call it, CONCA Champions, whatever. I think it's an important tournament that Tigres should always strive to do their best at and always strive to win because of the international exposure and possibilities and opportunities that tournament can provide should you win it, right? And this is a tournament that Tigres should have its eyes set on to win it, right? So you need to take that seriously. And also, the games are coming thick and fast, even in the league. I don't know if you remember the calendar, AJ, but we have 3 games this week, starting on Sunday. We have a game Sunday at San Luis, and then we have a game midweek at home, I'm pretty sure. And then we have Toluca next Saturday in a rematch of the final already. Like, 3 games in a row. Like, you need depth, you need numbers, you need people that are able to come in with quality to be able to make an impact on this team. And again, the fact that the front office is being so reactive instead of proactive is really disappointing. It's not surprising. I mean, look at the people that are running the show and just how borderline incompetent they are most of the time. But it's bad. It's not a good situation right now. Like you said, for a team that was a penalty shootout away from winning the league championship 4 weeks ago. But let's be realistic here. This should be a time where the team should improve, where the squad can still improve. And you got to give Guido Pizarro some real backing. You really do. You really do. So hopefully they can get their act together and can actually, do something in the next few weeks. Am I hopeful? Yes. Am I like confident? No. I think there's a difference there. So we'll see. But the other thing I want to say too, real quick, is there's such a importance to be proactive in this window too, because I'm going to say this all semester. This is a weird Clausura tournament that we're about to have because of the fact that it's a World Cup year, the fact that Ligia is going to be way different. There's no plan anymore. It's just going to be top 8. The national team guys are not going to be able to be a part of everything anymore. So you kind of have an upper hand if you have good international players or foreign players on your squad. So, excuse me. This is going to be a weird tournament. And that should be good for us because you look at teams like America and Toluca and whoever else that has a lot of national team players, and you look at how many of those guys are going to be gone in Liga. It's that should be good for us because outside of Diego Lainez, who else is going to be called up to the national team for the World Cup? Probably not anybody, right? Maybe Jesus Angulo. Go take advantage of that. Get some good foreign players in with quality and attack and in midfield. And let's go win number 9 in May, man. I don't care how weird and how different it's going to be. Let's go win this thing. But the front office doesn't really seem to have that same sense of urgency, at least right now. At least on the men's side. On the women's side, man, like they're doing their thing. They've reinforced this this three new reinforcements that the Femenil has brought in, like by all accounts, should help make that squad infinitely better. But on the men's side, not so much. Um, so we'll see what happens. But I think a lot of us in the Tigres community are very frustrated with how things are going right now um, in the immediate. But so it goes, and hopefully that doesn't impact things too much heading into Sunday, which is the first game of the season at San Luis on Sunday evening. I cannot remember the kickoff time, and I cannot remember where the game is going to be shown on TV. If I had to guess, I think TUDN. I think they have San Luis's rights in the States. Excuse me. But that's coming up. First game coming up. Debut of the black third kit as well, which should be cool. That kit looks really good. AJ even said earlier that that the kit looks good in person, much better in person. Do you have AJ? I don't know if you're still there. Do you have your own black kit yet, or where did you see it?
No, so like in Houston, there's like a soccer, like a the Diana fan shop at one of the soccer,
Oh, okay.
and I saw it in person. I was like, okay, yeah, like because I'm more of the type, if I buy a kit, I have to see it in person, and
Yeah.
that was like okay, like that actually surprised me. It looks better in person. Like the pictures, it looks good, but in person, it looks even better. Like the detail is uh is really really good. And no, I didn't buy it today, but I'll probably go tomorrow and get it personally.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a really good kit.
Very
And,
nice.
yeah.
Very nice. Good. Good. Yeah. I almost got it. I almost was gonna get it on Friday because my aunt is flying in. My tia's flying in from Monterrey on Friday, but she just texted me a little while ago saying, "Actually, I got you the long sleeve home kit with Gignac's name and number on the back." So that's my like late Christmas gift, which I'm very happy to receive, of course. Um, all right, dude. Let's talk about this game on Sunday. What do you expect lineup wise? Because I think there's a case to be made that there could be some rotation. One, because of the amount of games coming up, but also two, because guys have been kind of been phasing in and out with training. Like Linus just came back, I think today. Correa's not coming back until tomorrow, and so is he going to be able to play off the rip on Sunday? Right? Like these guys have kind of had like staggered uh, involvements with preseason. Um, what do you think Guido's first 11 of this Clausura is going to look like um, on Sunday evening?
Well, I mean, his hands are really tied with the lack of movement from the front office. So it wouldn't surprise me if he starts APG up top, Brunetta behind him. Uh, I would give, with like you said, Linus not coming back today. I would start Chicha on the right and Ed on the left, and then running back with um, uh, Romulo and the holding midfielder. Um, the defense, I think it stays the same. Like we've been seeing Chewy on the right, Fatfan on the left if he's good to go. Center back pairing Joaquim in. I honestly think he'll start Purata this game, especially with like everything with the amount of games coming up with, and we don't know like if Angulo's 100%. That's what I think would happen.
Dude, yeah. Is Angulo 100%? Is Romulo 100%? Is Farfan 100%? I mean, these guys got beat up towards the end of that Ligia run last month. So who knows if any of those guys are going to be available? And then the other thing, too, that you got to think about, man, is Joaquin is heavily linked now to Palmeiras, right? Because of the rumor that came out tonight that Miami's trying to buy one of their center backs, and so Palmeiras is trying to replace that player with Joaquin, and that they're apparently willing to offer like 10 million or something. So at least that's what I saw earlier on Twitter for like 2 seconds. So I have no idea what that's going to look like. Here's what I think are the for sure's, right? Like, Chuy Garza is now your starting right back. Obviously, now with Javier Aquino not a part of the squad anymore, like, he is going to be the person. I think you're right about the front line or the attacking line, um, with Guignac starting, Brunetta behind. I love the idea of starting Chicha from the offset. One from just like let's get him integrated and make him like a real squad player now. Like I think he has a role to play in this team, and also the earlier you can get the youth minutes out of the way, the better. And obviously, he's going to be one of those guys that can contribute the most towards that. So I would say that you're right about that. Ociel starts off the left. Vigon is also out. May I remind everybody because of his red card that he got in the final after all the shenanigans and the penalty shootout. So he will not be available. So we're pretty thin, even from a depth perspective. There, it would not shock me if Marcelo Flores gets a good chunk of playing time. Honestly, I don't know about Romulo. So my guesstimation is that Goriaran and Parra may end up being the pivot in midfield. That would be my guess. I think you're right about Purata starting, without a doubt. And I guess if Joaquim is still around and the interest from Brazil's not too serious, that he starts. Obviously, Angulo starting would be ideal. Um, but if not, if like Joaquim can't, or if Joaquim and Angulo can't, then who the heck are you going to put? And if Romulo can't either, who the heck are you going to put in at center back? Rafa Guerrero, like, or are you going to put in this other kid that we just talked about? Good, good grief. And I guess at left back too. I guess we don't know the status of Farfan because he got a big little, like, or not a big little. He got a big bump. I'm pretty sure from the final. So it'd be nice to know his status. If he can't go, who the heck replaces him? Like, does Chewy go to the left and Loroña ends up starting it right back? Like, good grief. Like, I feel like there's a lot of uncertainty with the lineup, um,
And
outside of the
that's where
front four. So,
that's where letting Aquino walk hurts this team more than we
yep,
realize. Because
yep.
even if he was gonna accept the role, we don't know the truth, right? We don't know if what he said was true. Like even if even if he stayed, right, like that's still a depth piece, just in case for these reasons you have an injury, you have you can plug him in there because he's played there. That's his position. But I kind of feel for Chicha because if he's not ready, he's gonna have to like be ready because his number is gonna be called a lot on the right wing, more than he realizes. And like you said, he's gonna be a big piece for the. I think he'll. Like, I agree with you. I think he'll be a big piece for this club this tournament. But yeah, it's just like just looking at the lineup, we don't know the status of Angulo, if he's going to be good to go. But if he isn't, who are you going to plug in the left and the right? And like, I really don't think this front office is realizing that.
I'm also kind of surprised that the reporters haven't said like much of anything about all that either. Like, I haven't seen like Bayo, and maybe he did on his live today. I know he went live earlier on Twitter, but like I haven't seen Bayo or Rosales or Edgar Martinez, like those guys, say anything about the guys who we mentioned, like Romulo and Angulo and Farfan with their injuries, like what's going on there. Um, that feels very weird. That all that we've gotten from them is, hey, these guys are coming back into training at this day at this time and whatnot, and not anything about those other guys who, like I said, got all those knocks in the final. So um, hopefully we get some more clarity on that going into the weekend. I mean, we will for sure, but I would not be surprised if we have a wheels off first couple lineups, like between Sunday's game and even Wednesday of next week's game. I would not think that we have a more like normal lineup until the Toluca game next weekend. That's probably going to be like the first time we see our real actual starting 11 again or close to it. If I had to guess, based on what we know and what we don't know, right? So um, I don't know what to expect. San Luis, I know, just lost one of their best players. I can't remember his name, but one of their better players that just got transferred to America. So they've gotten weaker in theory, and weren't that good even last season. Um, this is a game that we should win, right? Like we should win somewhat comfortably, but with it being the first game, maybe some rust, especially with, like I said, the staggered, you know, callback dates for some of these guys. I would like to think we win. I would not be shocked if we draw, but the hopeful side of me says we win 1-0 or 2-1, and it won't be pretty. That would be my guess. What is your prediction?
Yeah, with a whole lot of uncertainties in the lineup. I think I'm going to lean towards 1-0, and it's going to be an ugly 1-0. It's not going to be like, oh, like a dominating 1-0. It's just going to be like we're scraping by at the end 1-0. Like I said, we just don't know with the injuries of Angulo on the left or Fad on the left, Angulo. Uh, we just don't know who's going to be in the back line. I think, like I said, the back line. I think the center back pairing. I think Burata starts, like I said, and they'll be solid, but it's just the fullback position is kind of questionable right now.
No kidding, my friend. No kidding. Um, I would say let's talk about next week too, but I'm sure that we'll be back on our normal routine, and hopefully some of the guys in our crew will join us next week for the next episode. So let's hold off on talking about the midweek game against. Is it Querétaro on Wednesday of next week? Is that who we're playing? I can't remember for the life of me. But I'm pretty sure it's Querétaro. It's somebody that's not great, if I remember, or Puebla, one of the two. So um, we'll talk about the other two games of this first of three next week when we come back on the show. Let's switch over
I think
to.
it's
Uh,
Pumas next, and then Toluca.
oh, shoot. Okay. Pumas and then Toluca, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Oh, I totally got that wrong. I remember blue in their logo, but I thought it was the Querétaro and Puebla blue, not the Pumas navy blue. So that's on me. Well, that'll be actually a pretty exciting first game at home on Wednesday, now that I think about it. Because as Arnoldo likes to say, Pumas always gives us a fun match, especially when they play in Monterrey. So that actually should be pretty fun. So we'll preview that next week, like I mentioned. Switching over to Femenil. They got a wonderful start to the season on Sunday against Necaxa, 4-1, thanks to Diana Ordoñez, who had a wonderful, wonderful start to the season. Literally within the first minute of the game, scoring the first goal, which is awesome, and then scoring the other three goals that the team scored to cap off a wonderful 10 out of 10 performance from her. It was nice to see uh, Delgadillo scored, or not scored, play. She started from the get go. The other girl, the midfielder that I can't remember her name because I don't have my laptop in front of me right now, and haven't memorized everybody's names yet. But she also came in and had some good minutes. Natalia Colin, shout out Lou for this because he told me to make sure to shout her out. Natalia Colin had a great game at center back. I would like to see going forward her and Greta be that center back pairing together, um, especially since Colleen, didn't play a ton last season. I would like to see her play more. I know Lou would like to see her play more, and that should be a good starting tandem going forward. Um, and lots of other good things here and there about their performance. Just a nice dominating um, performance from the girls to kind of kick off the season and kick off the title defense in a good way. AJ, I know you said earlier that you weren't actually able to watch it, but do you have any thoughts now that you've kind of caught up on highlights and clips from the game about Diana's performance and just the team in general?
Yeah, no, like watching the highlights, the team looked really fluid. Like, well, first of all, the starting lineup was really. I was really impressed with the starting lineup. The starting lineup, you got to give Lou wanted us to give Losa a shout out for the starting lineup. Uh, but hopefully, this is a lineup that he sticks with, because everything was fluid, everything was really good. The center back pairing was phenomenal, and I think actually the whole back line I was really impressed with. Watching the highlights with Eve and uh, I can't say her name, who plays to the left. But yeah, the fullbacks were good. Unlucky
Oh,
to consider.
you're talking about Mia.
Yeah, Mia. I can't say her last name. Um, but what you call it? The unlucky to concede. I watched the goal we did concede, and if she would have
Bro, not just you. I think everybody in the world saw that goal because that goal showed up on out of context football because of
yeah,
how that smacked Eve's face.
yeah,
Holy cow.
yeah, like it was a bad miss, and then unlucky that it went in, and then she celebrated like that was what she was trying to do, but no, definitely a strong performance. Can't wait to see where this squad goes, and hopefully they can make a deep run in the women's CONCACAF.
Yeah, dude. I know that that's not till I don't think they play in that till next fall because remember um they do that weird break
Oh yeah,
where
that's right. That's right.
they play the group stage in the fall and then they take
Yeah,
like 8 months off before they do the final four.
yeah.
So
That
we're not in until next season technically, but um, yes, you're right. Hopefully that they will be able to dominate that competition when that time comes as well.
but like
Um,
you said earlier about the front office making moves with the Femenil side, like I think like the Femenil shows you if you make the moves, like how dominant this team can be. You know what I mean? Like I honestly think that with the men, and like you said earlier, with us making the deep run in the Ligia, that should be attraction itself to other players in the league. Like, hey, I want to go play for this team. I want to play for Tigres. They make deep runs year in and year out. So hopefully it wakes up the front office like, hey, our investment with the Feminine is paying off. Let's start investing more in the men's.
yeah, dude, exactly. Like Nacimiento coming in for Femenil is a big deal because we didn't necessarily like need defensive depth, but boy, did we sure get it with her because she's like one of the best defenders in the world, especially since she was on the FIFA the best list. Like, that's a huge deal for somebody to leave Brazil and to come play here for us, um, and be so attracted to the project, especially after winning a championship. That's a big deal. I'm really excited to see her implemented in the future. But yeah, the front office, like we said, they're doing their part with the girls. They really are, and we can't knock them for that. They are definitely always trying to mix it up, always trying to bring new faces in, always trying to improve the squad. Even if sometimes like some of the ways they try to improve aren't like super ideal. Like maybe we could have used a midfielder a couple seasons ago or even last season, but now we've got it with a couple of the signings that we just made. Um, but where's that for the men, right? Like you said earlier, like it's just because we lost on a penalty shootout doesn't mean we're a perfect team or that this is the best version of the Guido Pizarro Tigres that we're ever going to get. Like, no, like there's plenty of ways the squad can improve. Um, and they need to be proactive and go get it. So we'll see what happens on that front. But shout out the girls. They're doing great already. Um, like you mentioned, Pedro deserves a lot of props for switching up the lineup. And I hope to see a lot more of that switch up as the season goes on. Um, real quick, and then I think we'll be done. I think we've covered pretty much all of our bases tonight. Um, rapid fire. Tell me whether or not these guys stay or whether they go from the squad. Okay, from the men. Joaquim. Does Joaquim stay a Tigres player or does his new Brazil interest mean that he is on his way out?
Personally, I think with with the pull that Palmeiras does have, I can see Joaquin leaving. Palmeiras isn't like a mid-table team in Brazil. They're constantly competing for the league, making deep runs in Libertadores, and he's from Brazil, so that adds that extra. Hey, I'm going home and I'm playing for one of the top teams in my home country. So it wouldn't surprise me if Joaquin leaves. So I would say yes. If the money's right, he'll leave.
Yeah. If that number of 10 million is true, which I don't know if it is or not, that would be very interesting. Real quick, I'm going to switch over to my laptop. So give me 1 second. Okay. There we go. Whoa, that was a weird little echo that my phone just did, but we're here. Can you hear me okay, Mr. AJ? Yes or no? Hello, hello, hello. I think I can see everything okay here, so it's probably fine. Drinker, I'm so sorry. I just noticed you're in the chat, my friend. Let me pull up all these comments that you've brought up. I'm so sorry. Me doing pod and driving was not super ideal, but I got to throw up all your comments here. Front office has been horrible. Players not being in Ligia is just BS at the same time. Romulo was practicing with the squad, but not sure he's 100%. Okay, thank you for telling us that. And it was Eve. I assume talking about one of the girls in the back line. But anyway. Okay, so you think Joaquin goes. I think Joaquin goes. What about Juan Bruneta? The Boca Juniors rumor is back. I saw earlier today floating around the interwebs. You think that happens, or is that just a lot of talk, a lot of chatter?
What was the Boca Juniors rumor
about? Let me pull it up.
About Menentiel or
no, about Bruneta. It was, where was it? I just saw it earlier today. News. I don't know what it was. I can't find it, but it was basically like him being linked to Boca Juniors again. That they potentially could offer a fair amount of money to get his services, this, that, and the other. Excuse me. Do you think he stays or do you think he goes? I think he stays personally.
Yeah, no, he's too big of a piece here for the club, and I think he knows that. Like, if he goes to Boca, he's gonna be number 2 behind Paredes. So at least here he's competing with Angel Correa, but Bruneta was top 2 goal scorers for the club last year or last tournament. So I think he stays. He's too important of a piece for the club to let walk. And if they do let him walk, or if they do let him go, then again, what are you going to do when they attack wise? It's already the tournament start. You're going to be panic buying, and then you're just going to go buy whoever to fill that role.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have to replace his quality with equal or better quality, right? And there's not a lot of guys who are going to be on the market right now, especially in January. I think about a guy that could have been a good option for that had we maybe been a little bit more proactive. Nashville today just signed a guy that maybe some Tigres fans will remember from Leagues Cup a few years ago when we played San Jose back in that first edition of the new Leagues Cup. Christian Espinosa, who played for San Jose. Nashville just signed him today to a DP spot. That's a guy who has been one of the best players in MLS over the last 4-ish years, 3-4 years. He's a creative player, has incredible vision, scores goals when he needs to, but he's like a true natural number 10. Where was that? Like, why didn't we try and like go after that? Maybe I'm not saying that he should have been signed here, but like we could have maybe been linked to him. I don't know. Like, we have to be proactive. We have to act like we care about making our team better. That would have been a nice ad, personally, especially if maybe you have questions about about Brunetta after kind of how he got exposed in the final and how he was walking and all the stuff that we talked about on the last episode. But I don't think at this point that there's a realistic chance that he leaves, at least in the time being. So that would be what I would say for him. Joaquim, though, I think he's gone. Those were the O2 players that I wanted to play that rapid fire game with, because those are the two that are still kind of up in the air about. Obviously, Ivania should leave. Obviously, Antuna should leave, but at this point, are they going to?
Yeah, honestly, we can't. I know they need to leave, but we just can't afford. Personally, we can't afford for them to leave because there's no depth at all. If you would have brought reinforcements, okay, then yeah, I feel comfortable. But there's no depth at our positions, and then we're one injury away from being a team that's dragging across the finish line. And I truly we dragged at the final last year, at the last tournament, because I think it's a totally different team if you have Angulo's healthy. If Angulo is healthy, the second leg, it changes the game, in my opinion.
For sure.
If he's 100%, changes the game a little bit more. So I don't know. It's frustrating. I'm still frustrated with the front office.
Yeah. I don't think we're going to be over that for a while, man. I really don't. There's so many things you can nitpick about how that second leg went. And it just makes it even worse that, we could have won that game. We could have won that series had we scored a chance after they scored their second goal, after we basically took over the game from that point on. And then, losing in the worst possible way on penalties. So, excuse me. It's going to be a while to get over it. But like I said, this is a good opportunity. This season is a good opportunity for the boys to go win this league right now because of how different it's going to be. Take advantage of the fact that it's different. Take advantage of the fact that we're a team that relies so much on foreigners and go win this thing. And if people are like, oh, you only won because it was a more foreigner-heavy based thing. Like, who cares? Go win. Guignac's leaving in 6 months. Go get him his last championship. Now, Wen might be leaving in a year. Go get him one more championship. Some of these other guys may be on their way out too. Go get a championship, man. They deserve it. We deserve it. The fan base needs another championship. It's been almost 3 years now. So hopefully they can get their act together and reinforce the squad the way it needs to. But we'll see. We'll see what happens going into the next weekend or in the next few weeks. So did I miss anything or we cover most of our bases?
Cover most of the bases. Like you said, we'll re-preview Pumas midweek. Yeah.
Yep. Sweet. Alrighty. Well, let's wrap it up. Look at that. 45-minute episode. When does that ever happen on this show? That's crazy. That is actually wild. And I did half of it in my car. That's also wild. Thank you for joining us if you joined us tonight. I haven't gotten a good sense of the numbers yet, but it seems like quite a few of you have been able to join us on the live stream. So thank you. If you're listening back on podcast later, thank you for joining us as well. One more comment from Threaker. Legit. Also, we need to not wait for the last week or day to get a signing. Amen. Although it's looking like we're heading towards that way. Like I said, we will be back next week to recap this weekend, talk about the games next week, hopefully talk about some signings or some movement, and hopefully we'll have most of the crew back with us next week as well. Y'all stay healthy out there. I know there's a lot of sickness and crap going around. I mean, I caught some allergy stuff this week. So stay healthy out there. Stay safe. Let us know if you want to join this show in one way or another, if you'd like to be a part. We're trying to be more proactive about that this year. So please let us know on Twitter or email, whatever, if you'd like. Follow us on social media everywhere. It's in the show notes. It's in the description on YouTube, and it's in the banner below if you're watching live. Follow us on Twitter. AJ and I are on Twitter. You can see our handles on the screen, or you can look at the show notes or the description.
if you need to follow all of us, all of our accounts. Shameless plug. I did just start a TikTok account solely talking um, about soccer, about football, called Dennis Footy Chats. Um, I am going to start talking, obviously, about our league because I watch a lot of our league. So, shameless plug. Go follow that if you would like. I've been posting a lot of Premier League stuff lately because of how drunk that league is right now. But we'll be back, like I said, hopefully next week with most of the crew. We're going to be back on our weekly rhythm as we get the year going. We appreciate y'all's support as you guys have always been so good with that over the last few years, and hopefully more of you will be able to join us in the future. But thank you for being here. Until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. Hope everybody had a good rosca yesterday. And if you're throwing a party soon, invite us. Maybe we'll show up. We'll see. We'll see you guys next week on the Lou Times podcast. Arriba Lou. AJ, thank you for joining me, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Peace.